about
You know, we're going to pop in first time on the Mondays. Y'all know we go hour. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. First off, how everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's ready to start this discussion. It should be amazing. Who got me doubling?
Yeah.
Somebody got me doubling.
Yeah, if you guys are not talking, you can mute so that there won't be a lot of static and background noise.
Okay, so for all the people who are new, we usually, add whoever to the panel wants to be on the panel. You raise your hand, and we'll add you to the panel. There's a raise hand button down the bottom of the screen if you're on Zoom. Y'all know if y'all on Facebook, we read your comments off and we'll talk to y'all about it. We'll discuss it with y'all from there. Let me see.
Amali's saying she's having
I gotta give Amali the link. So give me a moment so I can give it a link, and then we'll get it started right after that.
Somebody sounds like Darth Vader. Could you guys mute?
Somebody got the Darth Vader going. Let me see. Yeah. Let me just get rid of. All right. What happened? What you laughing at?
Mahogany in her face.
Okay, and anybody that doesn't know the Zoom link is now in the chat room on Facebook. So,
if you go to the live, if you go to the where we're broadcasting live, you can just scroll down and click on the link.
Okay, let's get started. Oh, somebody else came. Oh, they're getting knocked off and knocked back in. Okay, so.
Oh, maybe it's Amali.
Today, we talking about, purpose being a lifeline of relationship. And when we enter relationships, the first thing we're supposed to do is set our purpose for being there. We don't entertain everybody. We're not friends and we're not partners with everybody. We pick a selective few that we try to travel through life with. And those people that are blessed to be, those few, we have to align with a purpose. We have to have an understanding of why we're in each other's lives and what we can do to benefit one another, because you never want a person that's just, there for the moment and going the next. You want people that have a lifelong purpose with you. So establishing that purpose can be difficult. So, what do y'all think about when y'all hear purpose, having purpose in a relationship? What do y'all think about? You're on mute, Drastic. Everybody's on mute. Go ahead, Drastic. Yeah.
All right. So when you look at a relationship, you're looking at a partnership. You know what I'm saying? When you think of partnership, another example of a partnership is a business. So when you're dealing with a business, you know what I'm saying, you have what's called the mission statement. And the mission statement is the overall picture that drives, you know what I'm saying, each subsection of that business. So when you're talking about the purpose of a relationship, that's kind of like what a mission statement is to a business. It's like these are our goals. This is our outlook. This is the direction that we're moving towards. You know what I'm saying? This is the goal that we have in mind collectively. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. I believe that's the you know what I'm saying? That's like what the purpose of a relationship is.
All right.
That was a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a nice breakdown. Good analogy.
What about anybody? Would somebody else like to share what you think a purpose of a relationship is?
The purpose of a relationship pretty much is to come together and be greater than you were as a solo unit. So you try to be your greatest self. That person is trying to be their greatest self, and together you take each other to a whole nother level that couldn't happen prior to your interaction.
Definitely. So we definitely gonna hit. Yeah, that was nice and sweet. Nice and sweet.
Yeah.
I like it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're always zoning. You're always in and out. You sound like Darth Vader, man.
So I apologize. I'm sorry about that. So I can't, so I agree with mahogany and drastic. I mean, at the end of the day, when you get, the purpose of a relationship is your partner should be probably strong at what you're lacking and vice versa. So you guys can come together, for the common good and flourish.
All right.
So they on Facebook said purpose for a relationship is building each other. Purpose for a relationship equal building each other.
Yeah, building each other. All right.
I think the purpose of a relationship is two people with mutual understanding and trust and love for each other coming together as one, as a unit.
Who's that? That's you. Who's that had the TV on in the background? I couldn't hear that. You can repeat yourself a little bit?
Molly.
Yeah, Molly.
Said, it seems like I'm coming in a little slow. I'm sorry, but I think
don't worry about it.
A relationship is for two people that's like-minded and have the same common goals to come together as one and unite and build a strong front. Build a strong unit.
Okay.
Do you have your computer on?
Yeah, it's not the TV. It's somebody's looping.
Yeah, somebody's looping as they speak.
Yeah, not me. I don't got my Facebook on.
Yeah, somebody has Facebook on and maybe on their phone
Facebook
too.
on at the same time.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's you?
Nah, that's not me. I was saying my bad for over talking you, but yeah, somebody got Zoom and Facebook on at the same time.
Okay, that's
all right,
lovely. Monique and Jessica, y'all can write on the side and we'll read y'all, y'all responses also. While everybody is commenting, or they both exited. While everybody's commenting, they can talk on the sideline. So go ahead.
Oh, I got kicked out.
Yeah.
Nah, you still here?
You're still
Yeah, I
there.
still hear you.
Can't see anything. Yeah.
I'll see you.
We can still see you.
Okay, so do you want me to repeat what I said?
No, we heard you. We heard
you.
you. Yeah, it was excellent. What about you, April?
I agree. A relationship is when two people want to join together for one common goal. So I don't know what type of relationship you guys are talking about. Are you talking about a relationship of like a marriage, or?
We're talking about personal relationships. Any personal relationships we're saying should have purpose.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
They should start with purpose.
Yes.
So
that's how you really should attract to one another, it's through your purpose.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree.
How about you, Nadine? Nadine?
No, she's on mute. Yeah, she's coming.
Oh, okay.
I'm learning to just listen, because obviously I ain't get it right in the few tries that I tried. So I'm just listening. I'm just going to take some points.
But what do you think?
Okay?
What do you think? What do you think? Because we're not saying all the answers are going to be right. We're just saying like we want to know, we want to have your input, and we want to build off of that, whether it's right, wrong, and different.
I agree with everything that everyone said. A relationship has to do with building, wanting more, being better with the person that you get with. You should be doing something different, and they should be elevating you. You should be able to dream. They're supposed to bring the things out of you that you don't do by yourself.
Definitely. And
that's what a relationship is. And it gotta be like, you gotta have self-love there as well, though. Mm-hmm. It can't be, you still gotta know how to love yourself.
Well, you already know. If you was here early, you know how we feel about that. But
that's first, though.
About that. Yeah, I mean, it's the start.
Early. I ain't get the early link.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about early in the discussions. Past discussions, because we like to rephrase it, because when we think of love, we think love is a group journey. Obviously, we think self is self-care. We believe in self-care, meaning self-awareness, meaning getting that great understanding so you can introduce yourself to love. If we start looking at self as, oh, we love ourselves, then we tend to isolate. We tend to say, oh, we love who we are. But when we care about who we are, we attract people that reconfirm what love is.
Right.
So in a group, love builds. But when we isolated, that's not love. That's trying to figure out things. That's trying to grow. That's trying to explore. That's trying to search for love. So we obviously, you know, we really stay away from the self-driven stuff because a lot of people use it to isolate themselves from other people. And like, I'm working on me. But really, you know, you can't truly work on yourself without finding people that's going to challenge you, you know, where you're not challenging yourself.
I definitely understand that.
To
But I
fully
mean,
refine who you are.
when I say self-love in my way, I say self-love to where you need to know what you need for you to make you better.
Oh,
you
definitely.
gotta have self-love in that area.
Self-awareness.
That's self-awareness.
Oh, okay. Well,
See, self-awareness is it allows you to introduce yourself to a person. You get what I'm saying? So self-awareness is like, this is who I am. This is what I'm willing to. This is what I can now grow from, and this is what I'm not budging on.
Right.
No,
because I'm not budging at all. In no area.
You should budge in some areas.
No area. No area.
In some areas.
No area. It take me as I am or nothing.
Oh yeah, nothing. but as you are is not a complete person. You know that, right?
Well, I don't know. Well, you know what?
It's just like you said, you listening. Elaborate on that. You just finished saying it. I'm listening, I'm learning, because I didn't get it right the first few times. The fact that you're able to say that is saying, I need support.
Yeah.
Right.
And sitting here and getting that support is making you a lot stronger.
Right.
So therefore, it's adding to who you are. So when you said,
rephrase that then. Yeah. I'm not willing to compromise who I am for anyone to be loved.
You mean. Spiritually.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
We 100% with that.
If you don't mind, can I try to rephrase exactly what you're saying there, Nadine? Are you saying
say that again? Go ahead.
Drastic, you like the peer mediator, man.
Yeah.
You always want to hear the other person's team, but go ahead.
Yeah, I want to attempt to rephrase what you're saying. I think what you're saying is you're not willing to compromise your core values and what you find fundamentally important to your personality and what you value.
There you go. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Sound like to me.
Okay.
100%.
I mean, the rephrase was up to par. Drastic.
Yeah.
100%.
She approves that message.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Jessica on the side said, I think purpose is two people inspiring each other to be better and do better with one another. So, you know, during the unit, during this time, they should be evolving as a unit. So, I mean, we agree with everything that's being said, you know, so everybody on the panel fundamentally understands what purpose means. You know what I mean? I think the next question is, why do we fail in relationships, and why do we fail? Why don't we have discussions, and why are we always on different pages where we're dealing with, you know, when we both said we have a purpose, or everybody involved in each relationship said, I entered this relationship with a purpose. So I understood my role. I understood everything that was going on, and the objective was to get there. So why do so many people fail, you think?
You took the question right out of my mouth. I was going to ask the same thing.
Well, I want to respond. So, initially, I would say, you know, prior to getting to the point that I am at now, it had to do with the fact that we did not clearly communicate what we expected and create that contract. But outside of that, sometimes people sign on to things that they're not really willing to show up for. And so you can have this discussion with people and you feel like you're on the same page. We have an understanding. We made this contract, this verbal contract. And then when it's time to show up for the contract, somebody deviates from the plan. And that is broken immediately from there.
Yeah. And I think that's one example of many examples is just, you know what I mean? Like, relationships are so fragile, you know what I'm saying, that something could just sever it immediately. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like the example you used is somebody didn't show up to what they agreed to in that contract. Sometimes, like, the contract's not even discussed, and somebody just pulls a selfish move or something like that. You know what I mean? But whatever their, I don't know, whatever their motives are in that moment, maybe they're moving by their emotions as opposed to logic or as opposed to, you know what I mean? But yeah, relationships are fragile. I'll just put it that way. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Something's different about your microphone today. You have it sit in a certain way. It's really hard for me to hear you. Is everybody else having that issue, or is just me?
Yeah, I couldn't hear him, but I can't hear you as good neither.
You can't hear me?
Everyone's connection seems a little off today.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so again, I agree with what Mahogany said. I think when two people sign up to be in a relationship and to come together as one, I think sometimes we may veer off. Sometimes our definitions of what your purpose is like when it's not communicated effectively. One person is moving one way and another person is moving a different way, and you guys are moving on the same pace. I think that can mess the relationship up as well. I think at all times it has to be established that where are we going, where's our common goal, and how are we going to get there. I think sometimes we get in spaces where like one person has one way of getting there and the other person has one way of getting there, but they're not sitting down communicating effectively of how we're going to get there together. A relationship is more of a we thing. No, it is a we thing and not an I thing. And sometimes people get selfish, and that's when the relationship goes sour.
Definitely.
But also, I think sometimes even like a friendship or a relationship.
Well, they both relationships, yeah.
People come in to the relationship with a mask on. So and something that they are because they want to get into like a friendship or sexual relationship with you, and then further down the line they change, their true colors show, because after a while they cannot hide it anymore. And a lot of people are like that, so sometimes when you've been through that, you come into a relationship with your guard up, and it's hard for you to break your guard because you don't know if that person is going to change 6 months, 8 months down the line, because there's some people that's really good at it. They're really good at it. They will suck you dry out of the relationship, get what they want, and they're going to move on, and then you're stuck. And then you got to go and find another relationship or build another friendship with somebody, and it's hard. So that you're vulnerable. And you're scared, and you have your walls up when coming into any type of relationship.
Well, I mean, yes.
I don't agree with that. So
say that again.
I said I don't agree with that.
Yeah. You don't agree with it, or you do agree with it?
I don't agree with that.
Okay, go ahead.
I do agree that some people come in with different intentions, and then eventually you get to see what their intentions are. But I believe that we should always be vulnerable, because if you're not vulnerable, you're not going to see them. So if you don't see them, then there's something with you that's the problem, and why you don't see them. It really has nothing to do with them. It's you.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, April. I was going to say the same thing. Vulnerability is not the enemy, and vulnerability is not it's what you should be, because that's how you weed out the
right. We say vulnerability is the greatest lie detector.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sure is.
So if you fully who you are, and a person can't digest you, I tell you, don't fit yourself in where you don't belong.
That's right.
And if you go in hard and you go in with your principles and your beliefs and your deal breakers, it's really hard for somebody to kind of pretend to be somebody that they're not. Right. Like that eventually that doesn't last but so long. So that's why.
That's what I'm saying. Eventually the truth will come out.
But that's why you don't. But that's why you don't commit until you know the truth, or you think you know the truth. You know what I mean? Like, you take your time, because people don't want to put in but so much work when they're really pretending. It's hard to pretend, right? So if you ask the right questions, if you hold off on sex, if you are, you guys are having conflict and how you guys resolve your conflict, if you guys do all of that, then eventually you'll see that person's true colors. Like if you guys are getting along the whole entire time and no conflict, you don't see this person upset, then, you don't really truly know who they are, right? So you kind of go through all of that, you hold off, and then you see if that person is really the right person for you to continue on with wherever you want to continue on to.
Definitely. Amali, I understood what you were saying. There was two parts to it. She was saying that there are a lot of people that show up, with a mask, and then they get in and things of that nature. Where I think April was coming from definitely is you never let somebody steal your good faith. If you have a good faith of vulnerability, you move on to the next one that deserves it. You never change nothing great about yourself because you've been wounded. Never. Right. Now, if there's things that that hindered the relationship and hurt the relationship, then your reason is to get better. Your reason is to change those things. You want to evolve, and you want to have better relationships after that. But at the end of the day, you want to always stay focused and keep your eye on the prize, man. Your faith is not up for grabs. And if you're a person that believes in vulnerability, you're a person that believes in partnership, you're a person that believes in being dedicated, you're a person that believes in devotion, and you surrender to those ideas and those beliefs, you're going to attract people because that light shines so bright, it's going to scare so many people off. And from me, I'm one of those people, man. I'm one of the most difficult people to be around because I will shine the light with no problem. And won't be apologetic for it. I'll tell you that. So there's a lot of people that personally can't speak to me. They understand like from afar when we're actually having discussions from afar. I'm easier to take in. But when you're in my personal life, you could affect everything. So I make sure that you definitely on point. But I mean, I just wanted to really shed light on it. Like when we think of purpose, I think the main purpose that's being fed to a lot of people is self-love, like what you started off with, April. Not April, Nadine. So when you go in a relationship, you still tend to think the relationship's for you. And it's just like having a child. When you have a child, you sign up to say, I'm going to be somebody's parent. So therefore, it's not all about you anymore. That's the first thing you learn. And they're going to take it whether you like it or not. They're going to take their time and attention. You know what I mean? It's the same with a relationship. You become a we. So you're merging. And in merging, you're finding out each other's habits. You're talking about each other's deal breakers. You're talking about where each other wants to go. You're talking about actually merging and building friendships with their friends and them building friendships with your friendships and them merging into your family or whoever you hold dear. And there's a lot that goes on and there's a lot that happens. And you got to be prepared for that. That's why we say love is a group journey. We have a podcast now, 3rd season is the adults in the room. And we always talk about being an adult means that you're ready for responsibility. It means you're ready to get rid of the whole, I'm still searching for who I am. And now I'm ready to build something greater than myself. There's a big difference. You know what I mean? And everybody tend to understand that when it comes to parenthood. That's why we don't touch on it as much. But when it comes to friendships, you tend to think, well, they supposed to be there when I'm doing all these harmful things to myself. No, it's the opposite way around. You're not supposed to be doing them harmful things. Before you go out and do harmful things, you're supposed to be thinking of them. That's the whole point. I'm grown now, I can do what I want. No, you're grown now, you are responsible for who you have in your life and not destroying your relationships. So we tend to say things out our mouth that just don't make sense. You know what I mean? Kids are rebelling. They're figuring out who they are. They challenging everything. We now need to come to understanding where we're ready to build togetherness. We're ready to shape a purpose and live in that purpose. So, you get into these relationships and you're like, okay, this person's emotions mean a whole lot, right? And one thing is emotions, but they have to be purposeful. You know what I mean? Emotions are big, but they have to be purposeful. They have to lead to something that was truly harmful. So a person can't just show the emotion. They got to prove the emotion is actually accurate. Do you get what I'm saying? Like we could hurt somebody's feelings unintentionally, right? But the person saying, I feel this way, but what your intention is to grow them. And their intention was just to phrase it a different way. But they know how you are, they know who you are, they know your intentions. So now you're going and juggling between their emotions and hurting their feelings and staying true to who you are. How many times have we been in that conflict?
Woo! Woo!
How many times have we been in that conflict?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can stay true to, you can stay true to who you are without always hurting somebody's feelings. And
okay,
sometimes some people can't take the blow like that.
You're right.
Everybody's not strong as others.
And everybody is not meant for you either.
That's what we're saying.
Right.
So the whole point is like-minded and same-hearted. Meaning, why would you have somebody around you that you can't speak freely around?
Okay.
Because your intention is never to hurt. Like, we have to have people in our lives that understand that the purpose is from moving from A to B. When we open our mouth, we have a disagreement. We should establish what the purpose of the disagreement is. We get too caught in our emotions and listen to the reason why we're trying to resolve an issue. The purpose of every argument is common ground.
Right.
We get too caught up in what we feel, what we want. You know, I. What is gonna benefit the relationship? That's when you know you matured. You matured into togetherness. What's gonna benefit the relationship? Yo, I wanna go eat out. We don't have the money like that. What's the overall goal? To preserve your home, to keep cash, to make sure you have something for a rainy day. Why should your need get met? Why should your want get met to eat out? When I'm now laying down the law like, nah, we gotta cook and then preserve that for a while, for 3-4 days. We have a mission, we have a purpose. We both agreed to it. So the difference between having a relationship where you're willy-nilly and agreeing to join a relationship for a purpose is that purpose has agreements. So therefore, both people signed in, so you can hold them accountable. A lot of people get in relationships without agreements. So then they caught on the fly. They can't really hold somebody accountable.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because they're too busy. You know, you got to understand who the individual is. I understand that when we're talking about humanity. You know, I'm not going to just walk and run somebody over. I understand that when it comes to humanity.
Yeah.
I understand.
Go ahead. You on mute, Darrell.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said it before, but I mean, it kind of pertains to the situation. I mean, there's just two words that just definitely have to do with relationships. You have selfless and selfish. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're selfless, you're making decisions that benefit the relationship. When you're selfless, you're making decisions to you and your partner understand that we're going to make the best decision to move forward. I think we get caught up sometimes when we get ourselves in trouble making these irrational decisions and we're not thinking about the benefit of the relationship. When we're thinking about kind of like what Aziz said, I, and we need to focus on the we.
Definitely. When you look at life, before you go, Mahogany, I just wanted to touch on something. When you look at life, name a time that two people understood the purpose and the goal, and they weren't able to achieve it.
That never happened.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Make things happen.
Think about it. We're not dealing with what if this person, from the outside looking in, like, you know, we counsel people. We have relationship building services. And there's sometimes we have people that come and there's certain things that sound so good on the outside. Like, I give you an example. It wouldn't be an example we encountered, but I have had discussions like this. A person wants to add somebody to the bedroom, right?
What?
A person want to add somebody to the bedroom. I mean, these are things that come up because when you're talking to different people have different relationships.
Yeah.
So when we're actually having discussions, we put our beliefs to the side and we have to understand and push them to their best relationship and what they see fit, right? So a woman comes in and she's like, you know, I agreed to this and I thought this would spice it up. I thought this would spice up the bedroom, X, Y, and Z. Now it's like, yo, I really don't want to do it anymore because, you know, X, Y, and Z. And the guy's like, nah, I'm not done doing it. To the general masses, it looks like he's controlling the relationship. right? Because it's taboo. You get what I'm saying? It's taboo. Most people like, nah, what happened to monogamy? Our wheels are turning. Monogamy, yeah. Our wheels are turning, and all these things, all this is going on. But in actuality, the purpose was to add spice to the bedroom. They had a purpose they agreed on. So she could bail, but she can't just, oh, I'm bailing, and then he's the bad guy. I'm saying he's not the bad guy. He signed on for something and want to maintain it. On the other hand, she now doesn't want to maintain it. So that's a different discussion. But she can't come from the place of victim. She got to come from the place of explaining why it's not beneficial to the relationship anymore. She has to understand. She has to convince him not to do it anymore, not the other way around.
Shouldn't she have tried to convince him before they added a third party to the bedroom?
I mean,
not necessarily,
but they both agreed.
Because they both wanted it.
They both agreed.
They both wanted. Oh,
they both agreed. So that's just that's just outlandish example. But at the end of the day, that's what I want people to think of. Like, when you agree to something, make sure it's something that you see long term, not short term fixes. Right. Because that's where a lot of our relationships hit a crossroads, where we have short-term fixes. I got rid of my job and I went to staying with the kids, and I got rid of all this stuff and get rid of my dreams and X, Y, and Z so he could do whatever. Did you believe that was going to advance the relationship? Did you believe that was the best thing for the relationship? Or did you think that you were sacrificing it was the best thing for him or to keep him? There's a big difference. Or did you think it was a best way to keep her? There's a big difference. If you signed on for the long haul, like I listen to Michelle Obama and I'm like, it's beautiful. She had dreams. She put it to the side. She said his dreams was a lot bigger than hers. But she put in the clause, once we out of here, I'm chasing mine. You see, she was clear. We going after yours. When we get out of here, I'm chasing mine. They agreed to it, and they should execute it. You see what I'm saying? So that would be an example of how I see somebody larger than life, where their wife kind of was like, okay, we're going to push your way, but I'm larger than life too. So we're going to now allow me to flourish as well once we're done with this whole 8 years. You see what I'm saying? But go ahead, Mahogany. I didn't want to clog it all up.
No longer remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I know you old, man. You old.
Well, while you're thinking, Mahogany, I was thinking too, like, if we all know what our purpose is, like as you said, like, why do we fall short? I think a lot of times too, we meet people that don't quite know what their purpose is, and they're kind of not where we are at as self-aware. So we take the time thinking that we want to help them, we want to teach them, and they don't really want to necessarily learn. They don't want to learn, they want to connect with us, but they don't really want to change who they are, right? Mm-hmm. So then we get caught up and sucked in that, and we become the teacher, then they resent us, and then we miss out on connecting on the purpose, because we never really connected on a purpose to begin with. So I think that a lot of us, we experience that as well. I mean, would you guys agree with that?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely.
Today itself, this is the third time this exact conversation is coming up today for me, which is it's great. Is a very big reason for that. But I had an exchange today. I had an exchange, and I had to express to someone who's obviously she's not there. She's not in the same space as me as of yet within her journey. And, the conversation was going in circles. You know how that goes when you don't speak the same language. Mm-hmm. Conversations going in circles. And I got to a point where it was like, you know what? We never going to get there because we don't speak the same language. And, it's someone that I was pretty much trying to help get to her place. She was very, very transparent about feeling like, she's going through a change, life, she's getting older, she wants something different, yada, yada, everybody has it's levels to it. But I'm very clear about what it looks like through that transformation with me. And it turned into one of those situations where now it's time, and now I'm the rigid one. Mm-hmm. I'm the rigid one because I'm not, deviating from the plan. Nothing's that serious. That the conversation, you already know what you're dealing with when certain words start coming out.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what, this is the sign. And then after that one, I had another conversation right before this one, actually, on a Zoom. And it seems like I'm just getting the message pretty much like, all right, you tried to reach back enough. Get back on your page and allow these people to get where you at, because you deviating, and that's not the path. You know what I mean? But I just thought it was interesting that it came up again.
I want to touch on that. I want
just to. Just a second. I just want to say self-awareness saves your life, Mahogany.
Yes.
Go ahead, Nadine. Then drastic. Go ahead, Nadine.
I went to a cookout. Yes, not a cookout, but like it was like, come on, let's go to the park and let's just, meet people. Okay, so I goes to the park. I realized I'm really with Mahogany. I get to the park and I'm sitting there with these people and I'm like, oh wow, this ain't gonna work for me. Like the conversation wasn't. It just was. It was like out of whack for me. And I was explaining to the young lady. So she came today to give me my table and stuff. And I was explaining. So I was like, sis, I'm trying to do some different things in my life and so on. But she just was like, it's not that serious. You need to relax. She told me, I was just speaking like, you know what, because, I'm not a man. And that's because you know your place. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. You are not, men, you have to let them do certain things in a relationship. Like, you can't take that from the man. It just was like, I was just arguing. It just, I couldn't understand Mahogany. It was so hard to have a conversation with her after I realized, like, this ain't gonna work. I did it again. I'm just trying to make friends.
To understand what that conversation.
Bro, you breaking up.
I need to know what that conversation was founded in, because I got lost once you went into the man thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mahogany, like, we was talking, I was telling her, like, I'm trying to do different things because she was trying to hook me up in the park. So I was like, you know what, right now, I ain't willing to bend. I ain't in the relationship zone. Like, I didn't come here for this. So, and she was like, you know your place. Because you know your place. Because, she was there with her guy or whatever. And I'm like, sis, we over here, they over there. And you know your place. Just everything. It's just like, what are you talking about, girl? I was going to link her to you guys, but I said I don't even want to be bothered no more. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But no, not like that, Mahogany. She wanted, but she don't want to give it. The vulnerability. We go back to that. It's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? I'm telling you that I don't want nothing. I'm not willing to give nobody nothing. So what am I trying to get in, meet somebody for? Like, that's not even what I'm doing.
That's what Tyrone was saying.
I'm not willing to bend at all.
He's saying that vulnerability is the recipe to compatibility. So,
right.
On the side. So, like, I could definitely see your frustration, you figuring things out. But, we'll get back to that. I want Drastic, to have the stage for a second, and I'll get back to that.
Happy.
Definitely.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think vulnerability is part of the equation, but also what Mahogany was talking about. Can everybody hear me? Because I know y'all had problems.
Yeah, we can hear.
We can hear you
clearly.
All right, so and I believe what Mahogany was talking about is another part of the equation, as well as like a lot of the ideals that you was talking about earlier, like a lot of the principles that Aziz.
Oh.
a lot of the principles that you was promoting is the ideal, and those ideals would work when the right people are working those ideals. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So that goes along the lines of what I mean by what Mahogany is talking about. Like, you got to know exactly what you want out of life, and you got to know the partner that you're vetting. You got to know that they fit the mold of going in the direction that you want to go into. You know what I'm saying? It's like whenever I get a vehicle, even from like years ago, like it don't matter if I'm taking out a car note or if I'm buying a hoopty. If I'm buying a hoopty, I know what hoopty I want. You know what I'm saying? I know what make, what model. I know how many miles I want on it. Like, I'm going out looking for that specific hoopty. You know what I'm saying? And too often people don't do that when they're looking for people. You know what I'm saying? You need to know the exact type of person that you're looking for. It's not just, you know what I'm saying, like women, they might choose a man just, all right, well, he's tall and he got a job. All right, that's good enough. Let's roll. You know what I'm saying? And the dude might be like, all right, I like her frame and she's pretty. Let's go. Like, it got to be deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that there's substance to their personality, that they match your ideals. You know what I'm saying? You don't just jump into that relationship. Like, you take the time out to know who is this person. You know what I'm saying? Are they actually signing up for the agreement that we said we're signing up for? You know what I mean? You got to take that time and walk it slow. You know what I mean? So that you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah, which is all correct. The thing is that, you know, when you know exactly what you want, it narrows the people that you connect with. You know what I mean? Now is your focus. A lot of people are not prepared for that. So yeah, on one end, it's like I have these principles, these morals, these beliefs, and it narrows the dating pool for me. But am I okay with not being able to go out on a date 5 times a week to find that one person? You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are not comfortable in that space either. It sounds good, but is that something that you're willing to be disciplined enough, or really believe that you deserve all of that and you hold out for it?
It's another thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jerry.
No, I was going to say, because
pauses get me.
Sorry. But because, you know, in theory, like we all know all the right things to say, we all know the right things to do, but when we're in it, it's a totally different ballgame. So it sounds good, like you want to stick by your morals and everything, your principles and everything, but are you okay with not being able to date just anybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And that goes back to everybody believing, because you have quantity is quality. Like, now a bunch of people like me, so I must be great. You know?
Yeah.
It must be amazing. I have all these people coming at me and giving me positive reinforcement. I must be great. You know? And then you see a group moving in like 5 or 4 that are like moving at one unit, and you're like, yo, that gotta be hard. They must be disciplined. They must be crazy. You know, like it's perpetuating if you have a bunch of options, you're popping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But really, when you know what you want, like we always use the sneaker store analogy, because I used to be a sneakerhead. You know, you go in the sneaker store knowing what you want, you go from store to store until you find it.
Yeah,
you go in the sneaker store not knowing what you want, you're buying up sneakers you really don't want.
Yep. And then you don't really wear them, or
those are the people really destroying everything. The neutral people.
Absolutely.
Buying up the people that's like, oh, well, you know, it's not that serious. And go with the flow. And come on, girl. Like, you don't talk about that on the first date.
Yeah,
Oh my God, you're difficult. And they can judge you, I mean, you blue in the face. God forbid you say something to them, they're fragile. At that point, you got to understand purpose. You got to understand every time purpose is questioned, there's a discussion that needs to be had. You know what I mean? Like, we all are in certain situations. We always raised, you know, that's family. You know, we always raised that's family. Me and Mahogany, if y'all don't know, we're cousins. And
real cousins.
We always first cousins. And you always know, like, me and her go at it all the time. She's like, yeah, that's my family, X, Y, and Z. I stay away from family that aren't in line with me. She's still, that's family. You know how I am.
No, I do not.
And I'm good. You know that. You know that.
I'm not on that.
Well, you're not on it. You're not. Listen to this. Listen to this. She's not on it. That's not her MO, but that's her MO when we're around each other, because I'm a little bit more extreme than she is. Can we say that?
Yeah, that's a part. Yeah,
that's accurate.
So I'm like, you got all this mess. Like, she's coming telling me about other people's mess, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I'm focused on you. You here in front of me. We align. That's what I'm focused on. Because I understand, like, my family can call me up and get things from me, but we don't hang out. They're not the people I signed on with. My friends are the people I signed on with. So I had to reposition my whole frame of thinking. Like, I actually pick my friends. I actually pick my partner. So those are the people that's in my life that I actually chose. And if a family member's my friend, that's where purpose comes in line. If a family member's my friend, of course, we rock it. But if a family member's not my friend, I'm sitting back like, you know, I'm keeping you at a distance. We don't do the same things. We're not aligned. I can't keep bailing you out of every situation. Like, you're supposed to be looking out for me. I'm supposed to be looking out for you, not me just looking out for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's so many things so many belief systems we have that we infringe on other people or that are traditional. And we look at what Mahogany said. Mahogany's rigid. You know, I have people call me rigid, and I'm like, I'm still cool with I'm still cool. Jerry was somebody I dated in high school, right? She's a close friend of mine now, right? I'm still cool with most of the people I've dated, and everybody thinks that's crazy, but I'm the rigid one. You get what I'm saying? I have a bunch of female friends, and I'm the rigid one. You know, like, when you think about it, I'm far from traditional, but everybody's pushing traditional views on us, right? And we're the rigid ones. Do you get what I'm saying? So I want y'all to really start looking at purpose. What's your reason for saying what you're saying? Because I can be rigid. Like, if you're saying this on this situation, I can be rigid. I don't want to bend 100%. But I want to understand your purpose. What's your purpose of pointing it out? You know, so it all goes back to purpose. When you're having a discussion, be mindful of the purpose. Be mindful of the reason. Never lose focus on why you're having any discussion you're having, because you have to see the destination. You know? But
yeah, to add on to what you said, like, yeah, everyone would think that, you know, the fact that we're still friends is a little weird. But, you know, people think that dysfunction is normal. You know what I mean? Or the fact that you dated someone and was with someone for a certain amount of time and you guys are enemies, like, that's normal. You know, at some point, you guys were in a relationship. You may have even loved each other or thought you loved each other. You cared about each other. You may have lived together. You spent moments, times, whatever. If you guys cannot continue to be friends or be cordial or not have any type of hate toward them, that should be normal, right? Like, you don't, just because you stop dating somebody means that they probably was not a good boyfriend or a good girlfriend, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't be a good friend. You know what I mean? So I think that that's something that I've learned too. Like, luckily I dated Aziz early on in life, right? So there were certain things that, you know, I learned through him, dating him, and realizing that not every guy that you date, well, for me, has to be the enemy, unless we realize through our process that we just were not on the same page ever and we couldn't just be friends. But there's no hate there, you know what I mean? So I think that, you know, it's really important to understand that as well. Like, everything that's dysfunctional always is understanding. You know, everyone understands that. If I wasn't talking to my kid's father, you got it. But me and Aziz are close friends, it's like, that's weird. You know what I mean? So I think that that's something that we all need to think about as well.
I think we came to understand, just to touch on that, we came to understanding that, I mean, I've been this way since like 15. I know that they used to be tired of hearing, we know you was this way, but I've been very purposeful since 15. I've been a relationship guy since 15. I wanted to be in a long-term married relationship. So all the people I was with, we was friends first, and we became partners. So all that happens is we go back to being friends.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. We go back to being friends. Why would you ever lose a person in your life that was once your partner and knew everything about you, knew every last thing that you liked, didn't like, built a strong foundation with, and because y'all couldn't romantically work out, why would you lose a close friend due to that? That doesn't make sense to me. It never did. Whereas Jerry went the opposite route.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah.
She has some harder fights.
Well, I was going to say that there's some guys that we're friendly now, But there's some guys that I probably should have never dated. They should have never been my friend, and we probably should have never coexisted. So those guys I don't speak to, but the guys that, you know, we created a friendship. We are friendly now, and, you know, there's no hard feelings. We just couldn't be a couple, a romantic couple, close friends. But it's not enough for, hey, you know, give them a shout out on Facebook, or, you know, talk to them every so often.
Y'all called you.
Yeah, we're cordial. Yeah. Yeah, we're cordial, not friends. But the point is that, yeah, I didn't always vet them the way that Aziz did. And I ended up in situations that didn't really make sense. So we went our separate ways and acted like we didn't even know each other. But yeah, it's really important. Like Aziz said, if you are establishing relationships with people and you are really establishing a friendship, then it should be nothing. After the dust settles, the feelings kind of subside, you guys should be able to go back to friendship, especially if the purpose is we're always going to remain friends. If you guys have that, then you guys should be able to go back.
You have the foundation.
Yeah, as long as the principles wasn't broken, you know what I mean? As long as the principles wasn't broken within that situation, then it should be able to be and back that to a friendship. But if like the core values were kind of weren't someone wasn't loyal to the foundation of which our relationship was supposed to be aligned in, then that's a little different to me.
But wouldn't it go, Mahogany? I have a question for you. So say you're dating somebody who you guys are friends first, right? And then you guys decided to date, you know, take the relationship up a notch, and they cheated on you. But they told you that they cheated on you. They didn't rob you. They came home and said, you know what, I made a choice, because it's not a mistake, it's a choice. You guys break up. Do you think that you could be friends with that person?
Yes.
Okay. So definitely
I
have that situation already.
Okay.
I have that situation. Julie and I are that situation. Now, I wouldn't call us friends because we don't spend time around each other and all that, but I still have like a high level of respect and honor for that woman. I think she is like one of the greatest people I've met. So, you know, I wasn't going to let one of the greatest people I met go because of something that not only happened so long ago, but that was brought to the table, you know, showing that, you know, not only was she sorry, but she was honest and gave me the ability to make afterwards. We was able to come back from that later on. So yeah, I can do that, but I'm talking in terms of like once somebody shows themselves to being just not the greatest person, you know what I mean, within the relationship. If you're not a great person, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't give a damn what our history was.
Yeah, but Mahogany, what if you got kids with them?
So?
No, I mean, that's a valid question.
I mean, I have children.
No. I'm talking about the other person that you got, you know.
I'm letting you know I have children.
Oh, okay.
Not great people. And I don't deal with those people.
Oh.
There's levels to interactions. And so, you know, you do what's necessary to create a healthy environment for the children, but that don't mean that me and you have a relationship.
Yeah, I co-sign that, Mahogany. I agree with that. Just because you could co-parent and you could set that boundary and do whatever you need to do to co-parent, but you don't have to have a personal relationship, which you do, as long as they're not putting, you know, the children in harm's way, as long as they're not being disrespectful to me, then we should be able to coexist in that way. But we're not hanging out in the house together, and we're not anything outside of the child. We probably don't exist.
I mean, like, I think there needs to be more. Sorry, go ahead, Molly.
That's like for me, for example, me and my ex-husband, we were friends first before we started dating, and got married, and now we're divorced. but we are super good friends. We went through a very rough divorce. And there's times where we wasn't talking at all. We was fighting, but at this stage today now, we're super best friends. And people think that is weird. I'm like, we are not good friends just because we have kids together. We're good friends because we at the time in our life that we're mature and we understand each other, and we had a great friendship then. And people were like, that's so weird. How can you hang with your? How can you do this with him?
Yeah.
How can you do that with him? Because he's my friend.
That's
And
right.
we would never be romantically involved. He knows that, and I know that.
I was going to ask that.
So we have kids together, and we have to show our kids that mom and dad can be
Right.
get along and be mature about adults about the whole situation. You know,
See, I like that.
like people coming into our lives, like he's dated females and females didn't understand that, and he would be like, you gotta go because the mother of my kids, me and her are friends, and
It's the same old.
yeah.
So that would be growth for me. 100%. That would be
And
growth
that's
for me.
vice versa, like me. Like we have boundaries here. Like if I decided to be in a serious relationship, there's certain things that we wouldn't do anymore, and he wouldn't do that. But that other person coming in a relationship would know that sometimes I'll be on my phone with my ex, not just talking about the kids, because he'll be telling me about his girlfriend or what he's going through or things like that, you know, and they have to respect that. But I wouldn't go come in a serious relationship or get into a relationship. I wouldn't go and hang out with him one-on-one because I have to think about my partner's feelings also. But they have to understand that he'll be.
So is that Amali talking?
Yeah,
That's Amali, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds
So
way better now.
all right, no doubt. So for me, just to touch on a little bit, I commend that. I just got out of a marriage myself, and for you to say that, you know, you guys are friends now, and to Aziz and what Jared was talking about as far as, all right, it didn't work out romantically, so why can't we go back to being friends? I'm not saying I can't or won't do it. I'm just saying that would be a growth spot for me, because that would be extremely hard for me to go back. Like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? And just be friends with her. That would be difficult for me to do, especially in my situation right now. Not saying I won't, not saying I'm opposed to it. I'm just saying for my growth and my development, which I've grown a lot, but that would be an extra growth spot for me to be able to go back to being friends. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say it's hard to do that with an ex or an ex. I mean, definitely like an ex-spouse. That's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, we got to always keep in mind that we're not talking about the norm. So you brought up the normal. We're talking about healthy.
Yeah.
If you're going in a relationship healthy, there's no way a person that told you, get up out the bed, you stink, go wash your behind. Y'all done been in the bathroom together. Y'all done went through all kinds of things together. In some instances, they done been in the room while you was giving birth and seen all kinds of things. And you still can't be friends with that person. That's blasphemous. Don't you think in this world we live in?
I definitely
think about that.
I definitely hear what you're saying. Like I hear what you're saying. And I don't disagree with you saying. I'm just not going to sit up here and lie and say that's an easy move for me.
I didn't say it's easy. I didn't say it's easy.
It's not easy.
What I said was, yeah, we working towards you work towards it. Amali said they fought, they didn't talk, but they stayed at it. Why? Because they had a friendship. They had a fundamental friendship that they felt was the foundation. And sometimes the romantic component gets too far into it and you lose track of the friendship. We would say the other way around. When you now dating your friend and now y'all in a serious relationship, why would you forget the friendship? Why would you stop talking? Why would you stop talking about shorty got a nice behind? And why would you stop talking about those things? Like Amali said, I mean, we don't really agree with the emotions part of it, because the emotion sometimes is on us. It's what we are going through. So like my girl say, yo, homeboy look good, or we see something on TV and dude whip out and she like, yo, he packing. You know what I mean? That's the friendship of it. Now he bigger than me, so I'm looking like, but I'm feeling away. It's not her. She's communicating with me as a friend. I'm feeling away. So if I don't get up in the bed, if I'm not getting up, I'm not blaming her. But most people's like starting an argument with her. Why? Because we're taught to, yo, you know what? We have the power to hurt people's feelings. So that's something already hurting in you. Because you ever thought of a time where you were confident in something? How many people could rock that?
No one.
Everything stems from your insecurities. When you're confident in something, nobody can take it from you. I done had teachers tell me all kinds of stuff, and I looked at them and said, I'm still gonna get it. Like I was in school and I wasn't a student. I was a ball player, right? So I went to class, really smart, take tests, pass tests, and pass every class based on the fact that I was a good test taker, right? The teacher said, you need an A and a B. You need all A's and some B's to graduate. Oh, I don't think you're graduating this semester. Bust this, buckled up my top button, kept it moving. Why? Because it wasn't something that was going to stop me. I knew what I wanted. I just wasn't a student. You know what I mean? And I can be honest about it, you know, but at the end of the day, we have to understand that teacher could, oh, she's discouraging you. No, she was telling me what was real. She was looking at my pattern. She was looking at my past. She was looking at my track record. I wasn't mad at her for saying what she said because my track record showed different. But guess what? That didn't stop me. Why? Because I was confident enough to know I was intelligent enough to do what I had to do. You get what I'm saying? So when we're dealing with emotions and we feel like, yo, listen, let me put my partner's emotions to the back burner. Let's focus on to the front. Let's focus on the track record. Let's focus on the relationship. Let's focus on the friendship. How would you talk to your friend if you've seen a nice looking guy? How would you talk to your friend if you've seen a nice looking girl? I think you're closer because of that. Because you never have to hide anything. That's what
you never have to guess.
You never have to guess. You're like, yo, you know your partner's taste. Everything they're telling you is them studying you. It's them getting better knowledge of you. It's them getting a clearer understanding of who you are. All the time, my girlfriends, yo, he look good. Blah. Every girl that walked with me and never talked about no man, and I'm looking at good-looking men walk by, we didn't last long. Because by the end of the block, I was like, so none of the men look good? I done pointed out like a few women. And women tell you all the time, y'all, I can't say that to my man, hell no. Because they believe men are egotistical. And a lot of them are. At the end of the day, a lot of women have to teach men how to be in relationships. Think about it. While we play with G.I. Joes, y'all playing with Barbies. If y'all that type of women, you know what I mean? Y'all learning how to deal in relationships. Y'all learning how to deal with certain things. We're learning how to quote unquote be men. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So y'all have to say, it's okay to talk about this. Like, it's okay. And you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to break me. I know you're here with me more than just looks. I know you're here with me more. You're here with me for the long haul, because when I gain weight because I'm pregnant, you're going to just leave? Is that a long-term partner? You know what I'm saying? When a friend sees you break down, you lose your job, do they just walk away from you? You get what I'm saying? They may walk away from you if you cost yourself to lose your job, because they didn't sign on for that. But if you just lost your job, walked in one day and lost your job, they're going to be there to support you. You want people that have purpose. They're there with you to see you succeed by any means necessary. But they're not going to be there with you when you're taken away from their purpose. And you have to understand that. Y'all got to be aligned in purpose and focus.
Yeah,
absolutely. Go ahead.
So wait, so Daya said that she can't be friends with the ex that did her wrong. She said that she wishes she could let things go, but she will hold a grudge.
I'm not a fan of holding grudges. I think when you hold grudges, you give, like, I mean, in my opinion, I think when you hold grudges, you give the opposite. I mean, the person who did the wrong, whatever the case may be, in my opinion, when you hold a grudge, you give the other person too much power over you.
You gotta forgive.
I don't agree with that. I'm not saying things don't hurt or you don't forget, but holding a grudge for someone, I mean, in my opinion, life's too short for that, man. I mean, you just, that's too much power you're giving someone over.
I agree. I think that it's fine if you feel like, you know, this is just not something that I feel like I want to move forward with you after. But as far as forgiveness, that needs to be in the building for you yourself to be able to be in your greatest space. So holding a grudge is counterproductive. But
100%.
But you don't have to be holding a grudge to decide that this person is just no longer for your
it doesn't mean that you don't have to reconcile. You can keep it moving.
Right. Yeah. But don't hold a grudge.
Go ahead, Drastic. I see you trying.
No, Mahogany basically took the words out of my mouth. You know what I mean? There's nothing else I could say.
I think, obviously we talk about defining terms. I think what people think is grudge is where you're not going to be in a relationship with them. You're not going to hang out with them no more. That's not a grudge. A grudge is where it's still eating you up and hate is still festering in you. Mm-hmm. So when people say forgiveness, they're talking about forgive the person from you being angry. Right. You're being angry within yourself, not you reconcile. Not like, oh, we could go hang out the mall because, I forgave you. That's reconciliation. That's a whole different understanding. There's a bunch of discussions I had for closure reasons, and we never talked again.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yep. Because I didn't have ill will.
Is for you.
Yeah, I didn't have ill will.
Resolving the emotion behind it. Resolving the emotion.
Definitely. But that don't mean you didn't do what you still did to me. That don't mean I still don't see you as the person that did that to me. That doesn't mean I'm not saying, out of all the people in the world I could be with, why I continue to hang out with somebody that did this to me? Right. You know? Like, I'm not mad at you, but I think somebody that you didn't do that to can treat you a lot better. I'm always going to see you as that person that did that to me. So I might as well start a relationship with somebody with a clean slate. I always tell people, everybody's always talking about, people did things and people change. And I'm like, they changed for the new person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they did change, and I commend them for changing, but they changed for the new person. A new person could take them in, just like I can take a new person in that did all kinds of things to other people. Mm-hmm. I might be able to take them in different. I might be able to accept their change. But I'm never ever gonna say, them people that you did all that stuff to should automatically take you back in their life. That's crazy.
Right.
A self-sabotage.
A lot of times, like, we're upset with ourselves because, the signs are always there. And, when we meet people that we're attracted to, we kind of let things we're not as hard as we could be, meaning that we're not sticking to the things that we set out. We're not sticking to our purpose. We are kind of, a little looser, especially when we're attracted to people. And I think, is really taking responsibilities for not vetting the person properly, not leaving when you knew you were supposed to leave, staying too long. You know what I mean? Those are all the things that when things are all said and done and we're walking away from the relationship, we're like, damn, like, I'm upset with this person, but you're also upset with yourself for not doing what you were supposed to do, or giving somebody a chance that you probably would have never give a chance. How many of you guys was in that situation? Like, you dated a person that you probably would have never gave a chance, but gave a chance, and it ended up being a relationship that wasn't even worth it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, so, ignoring the signs. It's like you get the signs and you ignore them.
And
but that happens because
not showing up for you.
Sometimes
that's all it is.
Signs because you want to be accepted, or because you don't want to be alone, or also because you don't want to start over.
Well, that's where self-awareness comes in. That's why you
absolutely, yep.
Now to go even deeper, that's where your principles come in. I mean, when you ignore signs, I feel like you ignore your principles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when you really look at it, I think a lot of us is taught that the gentler person is always the one getting hurt. Yeah. And we think that those are the people out here hurting everybody because they get to fall back anytime they want. Like in Mahogany's case, we guarantee that she's more the assertive person in her interaction. And the person might have sat back, oh, you're my teacher. I'm learning from you. You're like the greatest. I never met a person like you. And then they fell back the whole time. And then they, out of nowhere, got, oh, you know what? I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
You're like, what? But they sat back the whole time, really trying to find a way to now be at your level versus learning from you.
Wow. Absolutely.
Wow. There's a different understanding. Their purpose was different. Their purpose was to learn and be better than the teacher. I'm thinking our purpose is to be equal so we can look eye to eye. Right. You know what I mean? We have two different purposes. So the fact that, like, me and Mahogany talk all the time, and I say, don't get too caught up in talking and teaching. Listen, ask questions. because you got to first understand that you're charismatic. People are drawn to you. So in that, they're looking at you, which they can do for you, not knowing what you could do for them, not knowing it's gonna be work to even be in your circle. Yo, hold the camera, ma. Yo, we getting ready to go. Yeah, we getting ready to go to Brooklyn. We getting ready to go out of town. Like, I'm in the industry. I need to really get myself together. I gotta shoot all the time. I'm very busy. I'm on the road. So when we interact, you gotta be on the road with me. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to grind? Are you ready to chase my dream? Because right now my dream is big. Are you willing to be a secretary to my dream? Or do you have your own dream? Because if you have your own dream, maybe we don't have room for each other. You know, maybe I need a Coretta Scott, excuse me. You know, like everybody, Darrell was on our podcast this weekend. Thanks a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We was talking about purpose somewhat, and we was talking about how, yo, you know, Martin Luther King, he's the leader. And I'm like, leadership comes in every facet of that movement. All the people that organized everybody that was gonna show up to those. Martin Luther King didn't do that. He was the voice box. You know what I mean? There was somebody behind the scenes taking care of everything. And I gave him the next analogy. The actor always looks like he's the man on set, right? But the director is the boss.
Somebody else's pen might have even wrote the speeches.
Yeah.
So you got to understand, like, everybody serves a purpose, but if you're not comfortable, if you're looking like, I want to be Martin Luther King, you're in the wrong camp, bro. You know, you got to be comfortable writing the speeches. You got to be comfortable being the secretary. You got to be comfortable being in the front line, locking hands. You got to be comfortable being in the back of the whole group. You get what I'm saying? You have to be comfortable. Everybody's looking to be seen. They spending too much time being seen and not seeing that they are part of a movement. That's you being seen.
Yeah.
That's you being seen. So you're not going to don't date a person that is larger than life. Like, I'm not dating Oprah like, oh, you know what? I want her to be known as Aziz's wife. No, I'm being known as Oprah's husband. I know that. I'm cool with that. If I sign up for that, that's what I'm cool with. But you know what? Oprah signed up with me because she knew I would enhance her in some form of fashion. So behind the scenes, I'm probably doing powerful things. I'm probably, when the whole world is breaking her down, I'm probably building her back up, which is a hard job in its own. You know what I mean? But
somebody mute?
Somebody's.
Like, is that you, Drastic, driving off?
Nah, I'm in the same spot.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I think that was me. Sorry.
All right. Thank you.
You're already on mute. Let me see. So, I just want everybody to understand, like, when we talk about purpose, we're talking about people who actually define roles in relationships and are willing to live those roles for a lifetime. Like, you have to understand, like, this is what you signed on for. So make sure when you put your application in, you're clear on your roles. You clearly define where you want to go, because that person is going to see exactly what you signed on for. They're not asking you to be anything other than that. But once you fall short, they're going to come at you. Once you overstep your boundary and try to go a little higher, they're going to come at you, because it's going to now break the balance off of the relationship. It's going to disrupt the balance. You get what I'm saying?
And you have to be with people that are willing to even want to have that conversation.
Definitely.
When you're talking about your purpose or talking about, you know, what goals you want to accomplish together, that they're not looking at you like it's not that serious. This is the first date. We could be talking about other things, but
Definitely.
the other things won't happen if we can establish that at the beginning. You know, so that we keep that in mind too. Like, I've been like Amali said, like, you don't want to turn anybody off, and like, yeah, people start to not want to rock with you because it's not as easy. But you know, then those people are not for you. And I learned that along the way. Yeah, I learned that along the way. Like, those people are not for me. My circle got smaller and smaller, and you know, the relationships I have now are a lot more solid. And that's what I had to learn over time. Like, you can have 1,000 friends and still feel lonely. You know what I mean? Or you can have the handful of friends and have that support that you truly need.
That's a fact.
I feel like with both of y'all talk.
Go ahead, Drastic.
Yeah, I feel like what both of y'all just talked about, Jerry and Aziz, brings it back full circle to what Amali was talking about earlier, where you come across people that want to wear a mask, and then the true colors come out later on. Like, yo, if you get straight to the point early, like, they don't really got much room for a mask.
They really don't.
Because you don't already address the elephant in the room. You know, like, what's your purpose here? Like what are your intentions? And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're finding out the answer to some of these questions early.
Definitely. And if they're like, if they're like, well, I really don't know, don't venture in.
Yeah.
They really don't know. They're telling you.
That's why
Mahogany.
That's why basing everything on principles is necessary, because it cuts all the red tape out. Like, you don't have to go that deep to find out what you need to find out once you're basing it on principles. Once you watching people's actions and their words about who they supposedly aren't matching who they're showing up as, it's easy after that. Now it's like, oh, all right, this ain't it. This ain't it. It's easy. Before, I had a harder time. I used to have the same conversation that Amali had, as far as meeting people and feeling like, oh, they showed up a certain way and then the mask came off. Now, there's no such thing as a mask, because I see it early. It's like you can't hide. Once you know what certain things look like, you can't even hide it no more. People who aren't aligned with me, I know it from the door now. So I don't have a lot of time that I have to figure it out. It's like in this conversation, I just caught on to the fact that you not it. So now I know exactly how to move in accordance, which is much different than it used to be for me, because you know, you want more for people. You want more for people than they want for themselves. And in that space, you often like stop seeing the flags. But when you understand, like, this is what toxicity and unhealthy interactions look like versus this is what healthy interactions look like, you know exactly what you need to do in that space.
I agree with you 100%, because this past 4 years, I have become more self-aware, more self-understanding. So I can listen to a person talk and be like, nah, I'm good. You could go ahead. I'll go this way, you go that way, because I see the nonsense coming from a mile away, and I don't have time for that. I don't have time. A lot of my friends, family, I have cut off because of that, because you're not where I want to be and need to be. And if you're not going to be on the same page, we can't associate with each other. Not saying that whatever you believe is your belief. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But if you're not reaching here on my level, I don't have the time and patience for you. I can't do it. And I'm not trying to be rude, harsh. It is what it is. I've grown a lot in these last 4 years, and there's a lot of things that I'm not gonna put up with. From family, friends, even my kids, I'm not gonna put up with. And it's plain and simple. I lay down the Lord and let you know what it is. If you take it or you leave it. That's how I look at things now. I'm trying to be mean, not just the time and patience for the nonsense.
I mean,
from a mile away.
You don't have to say not trying to be mean. You don't need to be playing with us.
Yeah, we understand. We understand exactly what's going on. I mean, even kids lay down the law. You know what I mean? I could give you an example. My son, yesterday we out in the water park. He's sitting there playing in the water, and he's interacting with, some other kids, and we live in a predominantly white neighborhood.
I hear feedback. It's weird.
Yeah, somebody. Like
is
all
everyone mute?
Go to, it's a lot of Caucasian kids, and there's a whole different style of the way we raise our kids versus the way Caucasians raise their kids. But at the end of the day, we each raising our kids the best way we know how, right? So he gets here, he's with these, he's with these black kids, and they're running around having a good time and throwing each other around and having a good time. And then they moved on to the park, but he been in the water for like an hour and a half. So I'm ready to take him home. We dealing with time. He needs to take his nap. I'm being just disciplined, right? We get in there, he starts crying. I'm like, come on, we getting ready to go take a nap. I explain to you he's got to leave, blah, blah, blah. So I'm walking out the park. He's whining, crying. I look him in his face and I'm like, wait up. I just took him from a good interaction just so I can maximize on time, versus turning back around and actually allowing him to actually participate with these kids. They done moved on to the slides and the sand and everything else, playing tag, and I done took him away from the interaction. He was fighting. That's the only voice he had, and he was fighting with that voice. So I turned my behind around and took him back to the park because the interaction was important. So the purpose was for him to have an interaction. I mean, we've been 6 feet away this whole time. You know what I'm saying? So his point was for him to have a valuable interaction, and I missed the purpose. So even as adults, we fall short. You know what I'm saying? And we need to, even when they can't speak, we need to look at what they're trying to say. At first, all I heard was the crying. Then after a while, I'm like, he don't cry this long. By this time, it would have been, he was hurt. There's a big difference. He wasn't whining. He was crying. He was hurt. So there's a way to move past that. So even with children, they let you know there's a standard. And when you talk to me in the house, you're talking to me about building strong relationships. And now when I'm trying to do that, you're taking me away from it. You get what I'm saying? So he held me accountable. I had to take him back. I didn't even have to, but I did take him back. So those are things we always need to consider. I don't care who you are, there's a standard. And my kids hold me accountable because they have a standard and they know that their standards need to be met. Same with everybody else.
But that's the beauty of self-awareness. You've seen that for yourself.
Definitely.
You know, that's the beauty of it.
Definitely. So, you know, I just want everybody to go out there, really. If you have friends, you have family members that you're really close with, you have a partner, ask them that question. You might find out that, you know, what's our purpose? What's the reason we're still here? What's the reason we're still entertaining our relationship? You know what I mean? When you're in an argument, stop and say, listen, what's the purpose? What's our purpose in arguing? Where are we trying to go? Where are we trying to get to? Because showing our veins is not getting us nowhere. You know what I mean? Where are we really trying to go? Because the purpose is definitely the lifeline of a relationship. Without purpose, it's not a relationship at all.
Absolutely.
You know
and on that note, it's 10:29, and
10:29.
Thank you everyone who joined the webinar today. If you didn't share because this was another great discussion.
Yeah, this was great.
That should circulate so other people could, you know, listen to it and learn some things. Thank you for everyone who shared a story. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for just being a part every Monday. We have, you know, a lot of the same faces. It's really nice to have the same familiar faces who show up every day. And all the new people that joined today too, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, we want y'all to raise your hand and get on the panel.
Yeah.
I know y'all got some things to say, and as y'all see, we try to take turns. I know we got a lot of people with strong opinions, and at the same time, me and Jerry trying to teach in the midst of all the strong opinions. So everything is always lovely, and we always appreciate y'all for showing up, because y'all are adults in the room. You know?
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all for sharing the wealth.
Yes, all day. Always a
Thank
good
you guys.
conversation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for having
no worries.
Everyone have a good one.
Everybody have a good one.
Yes.
Good night,
Have a great
everybody.
week, and we'll see you next Monday.
All right.
All right, so take care.